Are you or someone you love planning to apply for a U.S. green card through marriage in 2025? Then stop scrolling, because what you're about to hear could change everything. This year, U.S. immigration rules have undergone some of the biggest changes we've seen in years, especially for couples and families looking to build a life together in America. From extended processing times and revised interview procedures to brand new financial requirements and document rules, the marriage-based green card process has taken a major shift. Imagine spending months preparing your application, gathering every document, and meeting all the requirements, only to be denied or delayed because you didn't know about a new policy that went into effect just weeks ago. For many, these changes are already creating confusion and uncertainty. But if you stay informed, you can avoid the setbacks that are leaving so many others stuck in immigration limbo. In this video, we'll walk you through the exact changes that are taking effect in 2025. You'll hear about how the affidavit of support is being restructured, why the financial eligibility criteria for sponsors has been raised, and what new documentation could be required to prove the legitimacy of your relationship. We're also breaking down how consular processing is being updated globally and what these changes mean if your spouse is currently outside the United States. And yes, we'll cover the controversial new updates to the public charge rule and how they could impact your approval chances. These aren't minor updates. They're deep structural shifts that could either fast-track your future or put your plans on indefinite hold. If you're in the process, about to apply, or even just thinking about starting the journey, you need to watch this video from start to finish. This is your chance to stay ahead, avoid costly mistakes, and make informed decisions for your family's future. If this topic matters to you, if your family's future depends on it, please take a second to like this video. It not only supports our work, it helps more families get the answers they need. So, let's get into it, because what's happening right now with U.S. immigration, especially the family-based category, isn't just a few adjustments here and there. It's a complete realignment of priorities, procedures, and expectations. And if you're in a relationship where one partner is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and the other is living abroad or is undocumented in the United States, this news directly impacts your life. There's a huge emotional and practical weight that comes with immigration. We're talking about families trying to stay together, newlyweds building a future, or even couples who've been married for years and finally decided to take that next step in their immigration journey. For these people, delays or misunderstandings don't just cost time, they cost peace of mind, financial stability, and in many cases, hope. In 2025, the U.S. government is making it crystal clear that they're re-examining the structure of family-based immigration with a new lens, one that emphasizes financial responsibility, proof of genuine relationships, and a closer inspection of each case to prevent what they call fraudulent or weak petitions. While the intention might be noble, ensuring the system isn't abused, the result is that it makes things more complicated for genuine families who are just trying to follow the rules. And that's what makes this video so important. We're not here to scare you. We're here to guide you through it, to help you understand what's happening, and most importantly, to help you act wisely so you can avoid unnecessary obstacles. Now, if you're currently planning to file a green card application through marriage, one of the first things you need to know is that the standards for proving your relationship are becoming more rigorous. It's no longer just about showing a marriage certificate and a couple of pictures from your wedding. Immigration officers are being instructed to look for ongoing evidence of a shared life. That means things like joint leases, joint bank accounts, utility bills in both names, and even joint tax returns if you're already living in the U.S. The idea here is to separate real relationships from what immigration might perceive as convenience marriages. But here's where it gets tricky. What if you're newly married and just starting out? What if you're long distance and haven't yet merged finances or moved in together? The reality is, a lot of genuine couples might not have these types of documents. And under these new rules, that could make things more complicated. On top of that, financial thresholds have shifted in 2025. The U.S. government is now asking more from sponsors in terms of income. They've increased the minimum income requirement for sponsors who are petitioning for a spouse or family member. Previously, sponsors were required to prove they earned at least 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. In 2025, that figure is rising, particularly for those living in high-cost states or metropolitan areas. In fact, some immigration officers may now look at local cost of living factors when reviewing whether a sponsor can support the immigrant family member. And if your income isn't high enough on paper, they might ask for more robust proof of assets or require a joint sponsor who meets the updated criteria. This, again, places a heavier burden on working-class families, many of whom are already navigating tight finances. But let's say you do meet the financial requirement. That's great. Even then, the process is evolving. One of the biggest changes this year is how immigration officers are evaluating the sponsor's financial documentation. They're not just looking at 1 year's tax return anymore. They want a more complete picture, possibly 3 years of tax records, W-2s, pay stubs, and bank statements. In short, the burden of proof is growing. They want to see that not only can you support your spouse now, but that your financial history shows a pattern of stability. And if they see inconsistencies, like fluctuating income or periods of unemployment, they might dig deeper or even issue a request for evidence, which can delay your application by several months. Now, what about those applying through consular processing, meaning the foreign spouse is still abroad and planning to enter the U.S. only after the green card is approved? For many, this is the most practical and affordable route, but in 2025, it comes with new hurdles. The National Visa Center (NVC), which coordinates much of this process, is under new guidelines to scrutinize documents more closely and reject incomplete submissions much faster than before. That means if you miss even one small detail, a missing signature, a blurry scan of your birth certificate, an expired police clearance, your case might be returned or rejected without delay. They're moving fast and they're being strict. It's also important to talk about the interviews. In 2025, marriage-based green card interviews, whether done inside the U.S. or at a consulate abroad, are becoming more comprehensive. Officers are being trained to ask deeper, more specific questions about your relationship timeline, daily routines, family knowledge, and long-term plans. They're also paying attention to body language, confidence, and how well both spouses know each other. Again, this is all in the name of verifying that your relationship is genuine. But even real couples sometimes get nervous or forget small details. And under the current system, that could create suspicion. We've heard of real cases where forgetting an anniversary date or giving a different answer about who does the cooking has led to serious follow-up questioning or requests for even more documentation. Then there's the topic that everyone's worried about, the public charge rule. While this rule has been changed and reversed multiple times over the past few years, in 2025 it's being reintroduced in a new form. This version focuses heavily on whether the immigrant spouse is likely to need government support after arrival. While previous administrations relied mostly on the sponsor's income alone, the 2025 version looks at the immigrant's education, work history, language skills, and age. This means if the immigrant doesn't have a strong job history or English language skills, it could be seen as a negative factor, even if the sponsor earns enough money. It's controversial. Many immigration advocates argue it's discriminatory or unfair to lower-income families. But regardless of the politics, this is what's happening, and it's another layer of complexity you'll need to prepare for. Now, let's not forget about processing times. This is one of the most frustrating aspects for families. Unfortunately, in 2025, processing times are expected to rise again due to system-wide backlogs, staffing shortages, and the added steps involved in the stricter review process. Where some applications used to be processed in 8 to 10 months, we're now seeing estimates stretch to 14, 16, and even 20 months in some cases. This makes planning incredibly hard, especially for couples trying to reunite after years apart. What's even more frustrating is that there's often no clear explanation for the delay. Two couples might file nearly identical applications on the same day, and one gets approved months before the other. The system isn't always logical or predictable, and that's exactly why being fully prepared with a flawless application is more important than ever. So, what does all of this mean for you? It means that if you're planning to apply, or you're already in the middle of the process, you need to be proactive. You need to gather more evidence than you think you need. You need to double check your financials and then check them again. You need to prepare for a longer wait and more scrutiny. And most of all, you need to understand that while these new rules may feel overwhelming, they are not insurmountable. People are still getting approved every day. Couples are still reuniting. Families are still building a life in the United States. The key is preparation. One thing I always remind people: don't compare your case to someone else's. Immigration is deeply personal, and no two cases are the same. What worked for your friend, your cousin, or that couple you saw on a Facebook group might not work for you. Use them as inspiration, but not as a blueprint. Your application needs to be airtight, honest, and customized to your unique situation. If you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly serious about getting this right, and I want to thank you for trusting this channel to keep you informed. We'll continue covering every change as it happens, sharing tips, real-life examples, and expert insights to make this journey a little easier for you. So if you found this video helpful in any way, please don't forget to like it. It helps us reach more families just like yours who need clarity in a time of confusion. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming updates. Your journey is important, your family matters, and your dreams are worth fighting for. Let's get you that green card, one informed step at a time.